is now being recorded.
Management
Is not a passcode that I can confirm. Please try entering your passcode again, followed by the pound or hash key.
Sonal, you can start now. Yeah, I'll mute. I'll put everybody on mute. You can start.
Yeah, just please put everybody on mute.
Yeah, sure. I'll do it.
So we have very short time. We have around 55 minutes overall. And firstly, welcome to all Indus Solution Manager Special Interest Group. A very small background about the Special Interest Group. We started it around 6 or 7 years ago. And currently
is not a passcode that I can confirm. I'm sorry, but I'm unable to connect you to the meeting. If you need assistance with your passcode, please contact your host directly to verify the number.
Okay. We have around 350 plus participants in general. So the SIG has quite evolved over a period of time. And I would request, before I start, I would request everybody to be on mute as much as possible. Great. So in this session, we'll cover mostly two parts. I'll be covering and talking about impact on SAP Solution Manager and Focus Run because of the Backbone update. And Preeti and her team specifically will talk about the impact on S-Node part. Plus, if she wants, she can cover more. But these are the two parts which we'll be covering. And I'm working as regional lead in the go-to-market team of SAP Solution Manager and SAP Cloud ALM. So in general, Yamuna, can you please monitor the messages which are coming, if possible, in the SAP Connect? Okay. So just a quick intro about SAP Support Backbone, so which we used to think about as OSS system or whatever, has changed. So central infrastructure which we have, which provides a lot of information to SAP and also to the customer over a period of time. And is Yamuna, can you please once again put everybody on mute?
Okay, I have put them.
So what happens, Yamuna, the people who join, you have to put them on mute as well. Keep putting them on mute.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Only you don't remain on mute, because if I lose connection or whatever, you should be able to.
Yeah, sure. I'll not be on mute. I'm just putting everybody on mute.
Great. So I'm coming back to this slide. So this is a very important slide, and this gives the critical message which we have, is that the SAP central infrastructure, which provides information to SAP and also to the customer, has changed. And this infrastructure has been changed, I think, 2 years ago. It has been communicated since 2018. So we are doing it at multiple places that SAP Backbone infrastructure has changed. And there is certainly quite an impact, or not, I would say impact, the change required on multiple places overall. So, for example, there are some changes required in SAP Solution Manager. There is impact on S-Node overall. And because of these things, and because of these changes which have happened, the SAP Backbone infrastructure has also touched few functionalities, for example, Maintenance Planner, SAP Early Watch Alert, and stuff. So what I'm trying to say is that there are impacted systems which we need to think about and consider, that how do we ensure the connectivity to SAP Backbone continue to exist, and as a result of it, you continue to use the functionalities which you have, for example, Maintenance Planner, Early Watch Alert, Landscape Management, and let's say IT Service Management. So these are the functionalities in Solution Manager which are using Backbone heavily, and because of this Backbone update, these functionalities will stop working if you don't do the required changes in Solution Manager. From January 2020, what will happen is that the new Backbone infrastructure will kick in, and the old Backbone infrastructure will stop working. As of now, both the infrastructure, the new and the old, is working in parallel, but from 1st Jan 2020, only the new infrastructure will work. So what we have done to the customers is that since 2018 till now, we have been doing a continuous rollout and information sharing to the customers so that you prepare yourself for this. So we are in, of course, 2019, and you still have many months to ensure that you do the needed changes in the required system. From SAP Solution Manager perspective, so typically the questions which we get, what are the functionalities of SAP Solution Manager which are, impacted because of this support backbone update? So on this list, just to give you an example, of course, maintenance planner is impacted because maintenance planner uses the connectivity to backbone to get the support information or distribution. License management is also impacted. Scope and effort analyzer, if you're using in Solution Manager, is impacted. So this, I'll not go through the functionality list which you have here, but the message is very simple that many functionality of SAP Solution Manager is impacted because of the backbone update. If you are using these functionalities, then you have to consider that Solution Manager 7.2 needs to be a certain service pack level. Now to just summarize very quickly about two products or two functionalities which are currently available and heavily impacted. The first one, of course, which is meant for customers and partners which has huge volume of systems, called Focus Run. So if you are using Focus Run below 2.0, like Feature Pack 3 or Feature Pack 4 or whatever, you have to consider upgrading it to Focus Run 2.0. That's the first message, and you need to do it before January 1st, 2020. If you're using SAP Solution Manager, which many customers use, and since you are part of Solution Manager Special Interest Group, you must be using Solution Manager, then you need to consider upgrading your Solution Manager to 7.2. I just repeat, 7.2, Service Pack 7 or Service Pack 8. Of course, SP8 is preferred, but you need to be on at least these levels if you wish to continue using the functionalities which I put on this slide. Plus, all these details are also captured into this web page. So we already have a web page on the support portal which provides all these details for you. We'll also have a Q&A round in the end. Sorry to keep you on mute. And if you have any questions, please make note of the slide and we'll come back to the slide if it's needed. So impact on Focus Run. So in general, what we have done is that if you are on Focus Run 1.0, of course, you should move to Focus Run 2.0 as quickly as possible because of two reasons. Of course, you need to have the backbone activity in place. And one important reason here, which is put in a slide note, that Focus Run 1.0 enters the customer-specific maintenance in Q4 this year. So, of course, both the reasons are equally important so that you move to the Focus Run 2.0 and then continue enjoying the backbone connectivity as we have. Plus, how do you do this, especially the upgrade part? So this is also published into our web page, and I can share the link of this web page to you, and it clearly gives you the SAP notes to upgrade Focus Run from a Focus Run 1.0 to 2.0, depending on what feature pack you are currently. Now coming to Solution Manager, especially, and many of you have also told us that you still are on Solution Manager 7.0 and 7.1. What should you do? And you might be knowing that Solution Manager 7.1 is in customer-specific maintenance or out of standard maintenance since many years. I don't remember the precise date, but maybe 2017 or 2018, Solution Manager 7.1 is out of standard maintenance. So the message is very simple, that if you are on Solution Manager 7.0 and 7.1 and you want to continue using the backbone connectivity, then you have to move to Solution Manager 7.2 SP08, which is our recommendation. If you are on Solution Manager 7.2, it's very good. At least you're using the latest release of Solution Manager 7.2, and here you have to consider moving to Service Pack 7 or Service Pack 8. 8 is of course recommended. If you are moving to Service Pack 7, then you need to also apply certain notes on it. Now typically the question comes is that what are the impacted or affected functionalities because of this infrastructure change which you have done. And I don't want to list all the, or mention all the functionalities here which you see, but just to name a few, very important ones. For example, the license management part. So automatic distribution of licenses and maintenance certificate, which is handled by Solution Manager, is of course affected. So if you're using this functionality, which many customers do, because if you are trying to manage your certificates for each and every system, it's always tough. So they use Solution Manager functionality to distribute licenses and maintenance certificates. Then you need to consider upgrading your Solvent system. Many customers are also using scope and effort analysis, especially to manage your SP or EHP update. This will also require upgrade to Solution Manager 7.2, SP7, SP8. If you are having IT service management, in sense if you are sending messages to SAP, your Solution Manager is integrated with SAP Backbone, especially the customers who are using this feature will also need to consider upgrading Solution Manager. And in general, of course, if you're using maintenance planner and SAP Solution Manager is sending the customer data to the system, then you will also be needing the latest Solution Manager. This is the laundry list of all the functionality which is impacted, and I would suggest that you look at it because it's very important. One keynote which is mentioned here that your remote support will not be affected. So remote support will continue to work on Solution Manager if you're using it. So that's not a problem for you. So in general, the backbone connectivity or the infrastructure change has come. The biggest driver for this change was security. I mean, if you ask me, one ballpark reason why did we do this change is because security. So what has happened is that the majority of the RFC connections which we have are getting converted into HTTPS or HTTP secure connection to SAP Backbone. If we have to use the RFC connection, then we are moving away from a generic user to more a technical user which cannot be used to log on to let's say SAP Backbone. So these are the list of RFC connections which were existing in SAP's world, and these are of course impacted. So you have to look at one document which you are trying to create to understand what is the impact on each and every RFC. Plus, we have also created a new set of RFCs to manage the backbone update, and all these new RFCs, they use a technical communication user. So, for example, earlier many of you are used to creating users like SAP OSS, which is a very common user. So such kind of users will cease to exist. You will need a new technical user which will be given by SAP to log on to SAP Backbone, and these users cannot be used to manually log on. So only systems can log on. So these are non-dialog users which will be given to you. So just to summarize, so these are existing RFCs which will be impacted, which you should look at, and these are the new RFCs which are coming into play for you. This is on slide number 12. A typical question which comes, where to find additional information. So we have a beautiful central landing page. So I'll just show you the page, and this page has all the needed information for you. So I'll just go to this page. Okay. This page is also part of the PPT which I'm presenting, which I'll share with you later on. So this page provides all the details about what you need to do in the Solution Manager world, especially for the backbone update. So it provides the introduction that backbone update is happening, what is the impact on Solution Manager and focus on, what you should do to make sure that your SAP Notice Assistant continue to work. A very important part about STPI and STAPI. So typical recommendation which we have is that STPI and STAPI, which is deployed on your managed system, should be latest. And if you're following this recommendation, then you have already done this job. So this is one of the important part of non-Solvent system, which I think Preeti might cover the importance of this. So this is our landing page. You'll find all the information here. We're also trying to create a document which will explain the impact of Backbone and what you need to do. And that's the next part. So this document is getting planned for quite some time. It's not available yet. We just checked it. And if it is available, then I'll share the document with you after this session. So this provides you the details about what you need to do, the configuration to ensure that your backbone updates and activities maintained in Solution Manager 7.2. We also have a kind of automatic wizard which will do the needed things which I told you earlier, the creation of new RFC or usage of technical users in RFC, and that's also part of a note which is present. Okay, so very quick recommendations in general. The first one being that please move to Solution Manager 7 or 8 before 2020. If you're using Focus Run, then please move to Focus Run 2.0. And we also have a well-documented landing page in the support portal. Just one additional information is that if you need to know more about SAP Solution Manager, then we also have a SAP Solution Manager conference coming up on 11, 12, and 13 June. And you can attend this conference. So this is a 3-day conference which provides you in-depth knowledge about Solution Manager and also our new product, SAP Cloud ALM. Preeti and I would also be there, so if you need to know more about SAP Backbone update, you can also meet during this time. So please try to register if you're interested in this topic. That's all from my side. I'll hand over to Preeti. Preeti, over to you.
Thanks, Sonal.
I'll try to unshare my screen and then you can take it over. Oh, that's stopped. You can take it over, Preeti.
I'm still waiting for allow me to share because I still see your screen.
You're seeing my screen?
I mean,
okay. Okay.
Yeah, now it works.
Sure.
I'm sharing my screen and I hope it's visible.
I can see your screen, Preeti.
Thanks so much. Okay. So, as Sonal mentioned, I will be taking you all through the impact on the Note Assistant part from the SAP Support Backbone perspective.
Just there are some input. There's a little bit of a gap in the sound quality. So, I'm sure it's general connectivity problem, but just letting you know.
Okay. Thanks, Sonal. So I'll try to be slow. There are some actions required on customer side to continue using the notes functionality in 2020 and beyond, and this is what I'd like to cover in the next half an hour or so. This is the usual disclaimer, and here's the agenda. So the note assisted process or the note implementation process is impacted due to two changes. One being the support backbone update, and the second one being the digital signing of notes. So I will be covering both these aspects and what is the action required on the customer side to continue using Note Assistant. Focus of the session would be also on the digitally signing of the notes. The another important change is with respect to the mechanism using which the notes are downloaded. So apart from the RFC way, which is we are all familiar with, there are a few additional procedures which I will be taking a little bit deep dive into. I do have some short demo plans. Let's see if we have the time, then I would like to show you how these configurations and these changes can be performed in the system. And towards the end, we can wrap it up with summary and Q&A.
And the Y underscore and the role as well.
So I'd like to request participants to mute themselves because all right. So let's dive into the topic here. So currently there are two ways of getting a note into your ABAP systems, and as you're familiar with, one being through the One Support Launchpad, and the other one is the direct download from the System 1 RFC connections to OSS. These methodologies, both procedures are still supported, so there are no changes. So what is going to change now is that we now offer digital signing of all notes, so which means the notes downloaded via these methods will be digitally signed. What's the motivation behind these?
तुमने आप तक नहीं दिया यार, तुमने ध्यान के लिए दिया है तुम्हें, मत दो यार, तुमने मत दो क्या?
Okay, so leading to upload of files.
आपको कौन सा दिया यार, आपने तो ओके करके भी दिया उधर किसके दिए थे ना, वो राइट्स में किसी MM वाले पास नहीं है, जबरदस्ती बदल कौन से राइट दे रखे, मेरे पास नहीं, इनके पास नहीं, जबरदस्ती तो कोई नहीं, आपके पास मैंने हटा दूंगा मैं उसको नहीं।
Yamuna, you expect me to continue?
तो आप उसमें लिख दो ना, आप उसमें लिख दो कि हाँ ये रिमूव कर दो, मैं रिमूव कर दूंगा, तो आप लिखूंगा रिमूव करूंगा, उसके नहीं कैसे जाएंगे, तो ठीक है ना, आप रिमूव करने के लिए लिख दो एक, वो तो हो जाएगा कि भाई ट्रैक की हाँ भाई रिमूव भी किए, लगाए नहीं केवल, आप उसको वो रिव्यू के लिए दिए ना सर। हेलो हेलो।
So yes, you are not able to hear me. Do you hear me now? Okay.
Yes, but there are a lot of other chats going on in the session.
Try to avoid that chat. Try to avoid background noise, please.
Is there a way that all participants? So I'll just go on. So the idea here is to deliver notes with increased attention.
Please don't go on. Please don't go on.
Can you please?
Please don't continue.
Yamuna, you have to unmute everybody. Sorry, mute everybody and mute only Preeti.
Okay, just give me one.
So Preeti, how have you logged on? Have you logged on using some German number? Or like?
No. It's my. Preeti, can you hear me? Okay. Preeti, please press star 6 to unmute yourself.
Yamuna, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sunil, ask Preeti to please press star 6.
Preeti, please press star 6. You must be able to hear me.
Is it working now?
Yes,
Yes.
Preeti, we can hear you. Only 3 of us are unmuted now.
Yes.
Sorry for trouble. Preeti.
So, no problem. So I think we still have time to cover.
Yes.
So
Preeti, I'm monitoring the chat, so you can go ahead. I can monitor chat. Don't worry.
okay, you can see my slides, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So just covering this slide again. So as Sonal mentioned, the whole motivation behind these changes is to have more secured way of downloading notes. So SAP notes are now going to be delivered with increased authenticity because we want to avoid situations leading to upload of corrupt files into any of your customer systems. And how are we achieving this? So all SAP notes are digitally signed when it's released for customers. Now this is an overall summary of what is needed from your side. So we'll take a deeper look at it, but I thought maybe it's a good idea to present this upfront. So as we see, the most important impact that we see here is that all SAP notes are now digitally signed. All notes with correction instructions are digitally signed. That's the most important change that we wanted to highlight. The notes, when you download a note from the OneSupport Launchpad, you would notice that we already deliver digitally signed notes from the OneSupport Launchpad already. Now to enable your ABAP systems to upload these notes and also to download these digitally signed notes using Note Assistant, there are some notes which are released which needs to be implemented in your ABAP systems to prepare your system. So there are not too many. You can see a few notes mentioned here, and we'll dive into the details of what each of these notes basically are offering. The most important, most critical point to note here is that all ABAP system needs to be enabled to work with digitally signed notes, and this needs to be done by end of 2019. So that's the key message that we are trying to emphasize here. Now, how to consume digitally signed notes from OneSupport Launchpad. So as I mentioned, this is something which is already available. This has been released for customer from quite some time, more than a year or year and a half already. The download procedure from support portal does not change. So the same UI you would see, same download button as you're familiar with. What you would notice as a change here is that the file which is downloaded has an extension of SAR file. So that's the change that you would notice, and this is a signed file that you have. And the procedure basically to upload the note is also the same. So you need to basically just go to Note Assistant and then use the upload procedure to do that. To work with this, you have to implement these notes which are mentioned here. So these notes have to be implemented in your ABAP system, and then you can upload the digitally signed notes into your ABAP system. Now let's take a look at how to download these digitally signed notes from your S-Note transaction. So the prerequisites are mentioned here. So as of now, if your system is not prepared, if your S-Note is not prepared, then you would still be downloading the unsigned notes. To prepare your system to download the signed notes, these are the notes which need to be implemented. And in the first bullet here, what you see are the notes with classical UI that you are familiar with. The second bullet here is basically a transport base correction instruction or a TCI note, which basically consolidates all these three notes, and using this TCI you could just implement one note instead of implementing these individual notes that you see here. Apart from this note also provides different procedures for the download that can be configured. We'll take a deeper look at this, what this means to you. So moving on to the download of digitally signed note and what are the different download procedures which needs to be configured. So as I mentioned, there are additional options or procedures for downloading notes apart from the RFC way. So this is the screenshot of the configuration screen. I will also show this to you in the system. So apart from the RFC way, there are two additional options. One is the HTTP protocol, as Sonal also spoke about it. The other option, other procedure for the download of notes is the download service application. This is customizable through a report mentioned here. So RCWB underscore. So this is the report basically that needs to be used to configure. This customizing, this option is available through the note mentioned here. So this is a TCI note that needs to be implemented in your system for you to be able to configure this directly through the IMG. So there are two ways. Let me just repeat this. So there are two ways. One is either you could just go to SP08 and run this report and perform this customizing. The other way is to go to IMG and then perform these changes, and this would be available through IMG once you've implemented the notes which is mentioned here. Also, the important point to note here is that this is a one-time setup required, so you would have to perform this in your system only once. And if you do not make any changes to the configuration procedure here, then in that case, the RFC would be the default procedure selected. Now let's dive a little bit deep into what each of these procedures are. So this is the RFC way, which you're familiar with, and if you see the picture here, so this depicts that each of these managed systems is connected to the SAP Backbone via the RFC protocol. So this procedure, to continue working, you would need to implement either these three individual notes that we also saw on the previous slide, or the TCI 2576306, which is a TCI note, would have to be implemented. So what are the changes that we can expect from the beginning of the next year? So Jan 1st, 2020, it's an indicative date that you see here, so you can expect changes in the first week of January. So this procedure, as I mentioned, will be the default option for 700 to 731 releases. The other important point to note here is that the generic user which you have been using for the RFC destinations, SAP OSS or SAP S-Note, will no longer be allowed. So this will have to be replaced with the technical communication user. We also saw this in Sunal's presentation. Lastly, the RFC destinations, SAP OSS or SAP S-Note, will not work in the ABAP systems on releases 740 and above. So there instead HTTPS communication will have to be used. Moving on to the second procedure, which is the SAP procedure, where you need to use HTTPS protocol to download the notes. In order to use this method, two RFC destinations have to be configured in SM59. So you can see this screenshot here. So one destination basically pointing to the support portal, and the other one to the site from which the note is downloaded. For this, new RFC destinations need to be created. For this, we deliver an automated way, which is called the task list, to be used in the ABAP Task Manager. So let's take a look at what that means. So we saw there are new RFC destinations that needs to be created, and some other preparation activities have to be performed. To ease this configuration process and some of the steps that we saw, there is a task list, there is an automated task list provided with ABAP Task Manager, and this is available with this note that you see here, 2738426. So this is again a transport-based correction instruction note. So this is a TCI note. So at this point, I'd just like to maybe go to the system and show you some of these configuration steps in the system itself. So I would just now go to the SP08 transaction and basically show you how this report looks like. So once you run this report, as we saw in the slides, these are the three different options which would be available. And mostly, if you've not done anything, then the RFC will be pre-selected. And there are these, with the HTTP protocol, these are the RFC destinations that needs to be created. And the third option is the download service application. We will take a look at the third option in a moment. And let's take a look at the RFC destination. So you see here the ABAP connection. So this is where you would have to, so let's take an example of SAP OSS here. So this is where you would have to make the changes. So right now, in this system, I have not done the changes, so we see the old user still being used here. But let's come back and take a look at the HTTP. connection here, so which is newly created. So let me just take example of the first one here. So you would notice that it is pointing to a different host here, and in the user we see an S user, which is the technical communication user instead of the old users that we have been using. So that's one change which we wanted to highlight. The other activity is to use this STC01 or the ABAP Task Manager transaction to run the task list. So I would go to STC01 and search for this task list, which is specifically created for the configuration steps that we saw. So when I run this task list, I now see all these. So all these tasks would be performed and they are pre-selected. So I could decide that I would just like to maybe perform creation of the HTTPS connections as we saw, and then execute this. So in the interest of time, let me just show you the more information is available here. If you click on the performance assistant, you can get details of what each of these tasks is going to perform. So this task will basically create these three HTTPS destinations that we also saw in Sonal's slide. And this icon here, this little icon here will let you basically fill the parameters and then run this task list, and then you would have these configuration steps, some of these configuration steps automatically performed for you. So let me switch back to the presentation. So what we saw, the changes which are required for RFC connection type or the HTTPS connection type, and then I also showed you in the system an automated way of performing these tasks using the ABAP task list. Now let's take a look at the third procedure, which is the download service application. So in this procedure, in this picture, you can see that the system, the S-Note transaction basically talks to the download service application to download the digitally signed notes. And the download service is an application which is residing in the SAP basis layer, which can be used to download packages and notes from SAP Support Backbone. So S-Note and download service applications are now integrated, so which means S-Note can download can use the download service to download notes. So as you can see in this picture up here, where we have multiple managed systems connected to a download system here. So a download system can be either your Solution Manager system or any other ABAP system in your landscape. So any ABAP system can be utilized as a download system. The prerequisite here is to implement the note that we see here. So in this case, we see two sets of notes. So the first one is required for the managed system, and this one 2554853. The one in the second bullet, so that's required to be implemented on the download system to have the download service enabled in that system. The other prerequisite is to also create an RFC connection that you see here, RFC destination. So this is an activity which will have to be performed in each of your managed systems by setting up the RFC connection between your managed system and the download system. And this needs to be done individually in each of your managed system. The advantage of using this method is that all TCI packages and all prerequisite notes are downloaded automatically, as you can see here. So these were the three download procedures which I wanted to cover. Now let's move on to see what if you still want to download the unsigned SAP notes as a fallback option. So first of all, this option will no longer be available from the beginning of next year. So let's say you've implemented all these notes, your infrastructure is prepared, and you are basically downloading digitally signed notes, but for some reason you want to fall back, and if there's an error and you wish to download unsigned notes, then in that case we offer this customizing setting which can be used. So there's this report that we offer. Using this report, you could set the second radio button to download the unsigned notes. So as I mentioned, this option is also available only until the end of 2019. So now let's move on to see the overall summary of the topic, but again emphasizing on the most important message here, that the download of unsigned notes from S-note transaction will no longer be supported after the end of 2019. So all these notes that we see, all these configuration steps that we have to perform will have to be done before the beginning of 2020. So my recommendation would be to get started with these preparations as early as possible. So here's the summary. So all SAP notes are digitally signed. This is something that we have been hearing in the last few minutes. One Support Launchpad provides only digitally signed SAP notes. So if your note assistant is not prepared as of now, you would still be downloading unsigned notes. But if you go to One Support Launchpad, this functionality is already available. We saw there are 3 different procedures for downloading the notes. So we have RFC way, HTTPS way, and the download service way. The advantage with the download service is that the transport-based correction instructions, the packages and prerequisite SAP notes are downloaded automatically. The most critical point for us to note and understand is that the download of unsigned SAP notes will be stopped from Jan 1st, 2020. And again, these are the notes that we saw in the previous slide. So they're not too many, but these are mandatory to be implemented in each of your systems. For further information, you can refer to this FAQ note that we've released, and also we have a page on the support portal. I'll be showing you this in a few minutes from now. So what are the next steps required from your side? So these are the most important activities that you need to perform, the notes that needs to be implemented. Up here in this table, you can see what are the changes for each of these releases. So for releases 700 to 731, today your RFC destination, SAP OSS and SAP S-Note is working. In 2020, these destinations will continue to work, but the generic user will no longer be allowed, so which means that this needs to be replaced with the technical communication user. So that's something that you need to take care. The alternative is also to use the download service for 700 to 731. For releases 740 and above, the destinations, the RFC destination, SAP OSS and SAP S-Note are working as of today, but in 2020, this will no longer work. So you either have to configure HTTPS way of download of note, or you would have to use the download service. So these would be the options for the releases 740 and above. Very quickly, I just wanted to show you the Note Assistant page in Support Portal. So here in Support Portal under Note Assistant, we have a dedicated section for digitally signed SAP notes, and here you can find a lot of information. I would recommend to look at the cheat sheet for enabling S-Note for digitally signed SAP notes and also for transport-based correction instructions. So this is so there is one question, clear comment. The webinar topic mentioned that it's an upgrade of Solution Manager, so and not the digital signing note. So these two topics are sort of related because
There's a question on Solution Manager upgrade. Yamuna, if you can mute all and just tell people who are asking questions to unmute.
Okay, fine. Okay, I'll be muting all the participants. Please press *6 to unmute yourself and raise your question.
So there's a question on, this is Sonal here, so there's a question on the Solution Manager upgrade from Amit, which is from 7.1 SP3 to 7.2 SP8. And what are the critical project paths? In general, so Amit, what you have to do is that you have to think about whether you need to do an upgrade or you can also live with a fresh installation. So we also provide a clear guideline that when you should do an upgrade and when you should do a fresh installation. And if you are doing upgrade, then what are the functionalities in Solution Manager which are changing from 7.1 to 7.2 and you need to relook at it. For example, there's a huge change in the testing functionality, but there is a medium change in the change control management functionality. So what we can do, Amit, I mean, if you have time, you can connect later and I can help you understand these two topics very well. First one being is that how to upgrade and whether to upgrade or do a new installation. And if you do an upgrade, then what are the functionalities in Solution Manager which are changing and the new functionality in Solution Manager. So I can help you understand that as well. Amit, it would be good if you can unmute yourself, so you can, instead of typing, it will be faster if you can just speak. So if you're using, so Amit is saying that I'm using CCLM, UPL. So these functionalities are more or less similar in Solution Manager 7.1 and 7.2. Charm has changed at a medium level overall, and completely new functionalities are process management. For example, we have a lot of improvement testing area. For example, there's a lot of new UIs which are Fiori-based UIs in 7.2. Of course, we also have improvement in CBTS space.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, Amit, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. So basically what I'm doing is we are upgrading the system and then we're also moving to Azure, Microsoft Azure in the cloud. And one more thing, we are also moving the database from DB2 to HANA. So I think I would like to connect to an expert later and then probably understand what I have to take care of basically. Because my partner is Ethos and we have covered most of the things, but on a very general high level, I would like to understand if there is something critical which can come up basically in the upgrade.
So Amit, you're from which company?
I am from Centrient.
Okay.
It was called Digital.
So I'm just sharing my email ID on the chat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And let's connect. Okay. No problem.
Yeah.
I can help you out as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Great. So, I mean, firstly, thank you all for joining. And this is not the end, although we have a couple of more minutes. So this is not the end of questions. If you have more questions, you can always write to us. And either you can send it to Yamuna or you can send it to my email ID, and then we can take it forward from there too. And please come for Solution Manager Education Summit, Solid. And in this event, we'll cover Solution Manager, Cloud ALM, and of course the Backbone update and everything around it in much more detail. So especially if you're working in Solution Manager world, then this is the event you should consider attending.
So then, would you be sharing all these presentations?
Sorry, we cannot hear you well. Who is this?
Would you be sharing all these presentations?
Yes, sir. We'll be sharing all
yes.
the presentation, all the slides presented today, and we'll be sharing the recorded session in this YouTube channel. You can check her out.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. So if there are any more questions, you can please unmute yourself and ask. Sonal and Preeti would be able to answer the questions. Please press star 6 to unmute yourself.
So I have in fact questions is Sonal here. So
Hello?
I just want to ask participants what you want to hear next.
Hello?
Hello? Please speak.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Venkat. I have one question. For node implementation, after digitally signed, everything was implemented. Do we need to implement the node in manager system or solution manager system?
I think it will be all the systems, but Preeti should answer it.
The procedure is same as usual.
Yeah, so it needs to be implemented in all the systems, not in the solution. I mean, of course, Solution Manager system if you're downloading notes there as well, but it needs to be implemented in all the systems.
Okay, after implementing this thing and downloading the note, everything is same as earlier, right?
Right.
But the connectivity is only different.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, so implementation of notes and also the changes with respect to the user that you're specifying in your RFC destination or the HTTPS destination. Those are some things that I mentioned.
Okay. Thank you, Preeti.
Great then. So if you have any suggestions for any topic on Solution Manager and SAP Cloud ALM specifically, then please let us know. There is a suggestion from Amit that he is a session on GST compliance hub solution. Maybe Yamuna, you can take it over if it is relevant for any other state.
Sure.
But especially in the Solution Manager world. Okay. So if you have any suggestions for next topic for Solution Manager Special Interest Group, please let us know and we'll take that topic too.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem, pleasure is mine. So thank you all, and thanks Preeti and thanks Yamuna for scheduling. Thank you all Special Interest Group members for joining. Let's be in touch and let's have more such webinars.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sonal. Thank you, Preeti. Thank you everyone for attending.
Bye.